Hi everyone, my name is Isabella Turner, and this week I am doing my presentation on the United States-China trade disputes. I'm just going to call it a trade dispute as of right now. There is talk about a trade war approaching, but all of this information is recent. It's new as of this week, so there isn't really a final understanding of what's going on. Later on in the lecture, I will talk about the possible outcomes, though. For now, let's get into the background. So, what started all of this? Now, President Trump was mad that China abused American intellectual property rights. This included cyber theft of valuable trade secrets and know how. And then this combined with many other different things, such as he's trying to force Beijing to lower restrictions on U.S. companies and exporters to the country's markets. The United States is also in a huge trade deficit with China, and he wants to reduce that $376 billion deficit. He also wants to counter Beijing's Made in China 2025 industrial policy. This is a 10-year industrial development plan, and it intends to turn China into a manufacturing superpower. And it's actually getting close to violating World Trade Organization rules because of its self-sufficiency quotas, which would make it unnecessary for China to trade with other countries and gain access to more technology. The last sort of driving force is Trump refused to sign the joint communique, which with close economic allies at the G7 summit. Now, the G7 summit is an annual event that brings together the 7 major industrialized nations, which are the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Japan, and Germany, to discuss economic and global issues. Now, the nations originally agreed on free, fair, and mutually beneficial trade and the importance on fighting protectionism, which we'll get into in just a second. But a dispute between Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump caused Trump to back out and not sign. Tariffs and protectionism. So, what's actually going on here in this trade dispute? So, Trump declared a 25% punitive tariff on $50 billion worth of annual imports from China. The Chinese responded with a $34 billion retaliation tariff on farm products and cars. Then the U.S. threatened to put tariffs on an additional $100 billion in Chinese goods, and then China offered to buy $70 billion worth of American agricultural and energy products if the U.S. dropped the new tariffs. So there's lots of back and forth discussions and threats going on here, which is what's making the outcome of this conflict so hard to predict. And we'll talk more about the possible outcomes here in a minute. So what is actually occurring behind all of this chaos is protectionism, or the idea of manipulating international trade to strengthen domestic industries and shelter them from world markets. So Trump is looking to protect industries vital to national security, such as the metal industry and technology, and is using tariff threats as a defense mechanism to ward off these competitive practices. So protectionism threatens to slow global trade due to its effects on practically all industrialized countries and their economies. So the effects that this whole situation has on the countries, there's a lot of countries involved. China, their economy is already slowing and they've noticed weaker consumption and export growth. The United States, many believe that the economy will overheat, which will lead to inflation. And many American businesses are bracing for the effects of a trade war due to China being the largest consumer market. Canada would likely see their economy contract as well as Mexico. And Canada has already put in place retaliatory tariffs that are looking to take into effect beginning of July. And they also have had talk of suspending American patents on Canadian soil, so Canadian companies could produce the drugs. Italy has been doubting the continued use of the euro. Britain is unable to provide clarity on Brexit. For those of you who don't know, Brexit is the claim that the United Kingdom is leaving the European Union. So with all this confusion going on, they are unable to provide clarity. France has been wrestling with labor strikes. Turkey and Argentina have seen interest rate hikes. That'll discourage investment. And Germany has slashed its economic forecasts, and the president has also warned of uncertainties here in the near future. So now we're going to get into possible outcomes. There's kind of four big ones here. The first is that nothing will happen. Many investors believe the stock market won't crash because they know stocks can just change in an instant. And they also believe that the fundamentals of the American economy are strong enough where this won't have a big enough effect. Another factor of this is that both sides could back down, and the US could accept some modest increases in purchases by China of American products. The next possible outcome is that China backs down. And they have a very careful management of their economy, and a trade war could definitely disrupt and ruin this. And also, they could decide to back down on technology issues and open their market to more American goods and services. So, this is one possibility that China could back out. The other is that the United States could back out. Many people believe that China will call Trump's bluff. They know how much he enjoys a rising stock market and a strong US economy. So some believe that he will back out first. And then there is an all out trade war. Now, signs of this have already started. Many countries have been setting up retaliatory tariffs on the US. Some more factors of this: neither side wants to be seen as weak. Neither side wants to back out first. And if a trade war does occur, there really are no winners. Global trade wars make consumers all over the world worse off. Everyone will be paying more of a higher price on goods and services. And if this happens, the world could definitely see itself in a downward economic spiral. So here's a look at my works cited page. Thank you all for listening, and yeah, thank you.